Imagine a place where silence echoes louder than life, where the dead dramatically outnumber the living. Not a horror movie set, but a real town just minutes from San Francisco, where over 1.5 million souls rest permanently, while barely 1,700 living residents walk among countless tombstones. Welcome to Colma, California, the strangest cemetery city in America. In the early 1900s, San Francisco faced an extraordinary problem that would transform an entire landscape. As the city boomed with gold rush wealth and expanding urban dreams, cemetery land became more valuable than the graves themselves. The solution was brutal in its simplicity. Relocate every single cemetery outside city limits. Thousands of bodies would be systematically exhumed, transported, and reinterred in a dedicated zone just south of San Francisco. Imagine the logistical nightmare of moving over 150,000 graves, each containing personal histories, family legacies, and intimate memories. Workers carefully transferred remains, marking each plot, ensuring no ancestor was left behind. By 1924, Colma had been officially established as the ultimate necropolis, a city designed specifically to house the dead. 17 distinct cemeteries emerged, each representing different cultural and religious communities. Chinese laborers, Italian immigrants, Jewish families, military veterans, all found their final resting place in this extraordinary landscape where gravestones stretched further than living neighborhoods. The town's dark humor became legendary. Their official motto, "It's great to be alive in Colma," a sardonic statement that perfectly captured the bizarre reality of a community surrounded by millions of permanent, silent residents. Granite welcome signs replaced typical metal markers, subtly acknowledging the town's unique character. Prime real estate was being wasted on the deceased, and city officials made a radical decision that would birth an entire community dedicated to the dead. Every street, every corner told a story of displacement, remembrance, and the complex relationship between urban development and human mortality. What makes Colma truly remarkable isn't just its statistical oddity, more graves than living residents, but how it transformed a practical necessity into a profound cultural statement. Here, death isn't hidden or feared, but integrated into community life. Cemeteries aren't just memorial spaces but living historical archives, each headstone a testament to San Francisco's complex, multicultural history. As dawn breaks over rows of meticulously maintained tombstones, Colma stands as a testament to human adaptation. A town where the boundary between life and death blurs, where every square inch tells a story of migration, remembrance, and the inexorable march of urban progress. This is no ordinary ghost town. This is a city where ghosts don't just visit, they permanently reside. The transformation of Colma from a barren landscape to a necropolis didn't happen overnight. Land prices were skyrocketing, and every square foot became a potential gold mine for development. In 1900, San Francisco passed groundbreaking legislation that effectively banned new burials within city limits. Existing cemeteries were given an ultimatum: relocate or be dismantled. Entire cemeteries would need to be exhumed, with each body carefully transported, each headstone meticulously preserved. Between 1900 and 1930, over 150,000 bodies were systematically removed from San Francisco's urban cemeteries. Chinese immigrants, wealthy industrialists, paupers, and pioneers all were lifted from their original resting places and transported to Colma. Families watched as generations of ancestors were literally dug up and relocated, a trauma that went far beyond simple urban planning. Colma became the designated city of the dead, strategically positioned just south of San Francisco. 17 distinct cemeteries emerged, each with its own character and historical significance. Some were ethnic-specific, preserving cultural burial traditions. Others were grand memorial parks for San Francisco's most prominent families. The landscape transformed from empty grasslands to an intricate network of memorials, each telling a fragment of California's complex human story. The economic logic was ruthless but undeniable. San Francisco's real estate was becoming too valuable to be occupied by the deceased. Cemeteries that once stood in prime locations, like the Richmond and Sunset districts, were converted into residential neighborhoods, parks, and commercial zones. The dead were literally being pushed out to make room for the living, a metaphor so stark it bordered on dark comedy. By 1924, Colma was officially incorporated, solidifying its unique identity as a town where death was not just present, but predominant. The numbers were staggering. While Colma's living population would never exceed 2,000 residents, its permanent population swelled to an estimated 1.5 million. Each grave represented not just a body, but a narrative of migration, struggle, success, and ultimately, the universal human experience of mortality. Massive teams of workers, armed with maps and precise documentation, began the macabre task of disinterring entire cemeteries. Wooden coffins were carefully lifted, bodies catalogued, and families were sometimes notified, though many remained unaware of their ancestors' posthumous journey. Colma wasn't just a cemetery town, it was a profound historical archive, written in stone and soil. The land transformation began with ruthless pragmatism. The process was neither gentle nor simple. Some graves dated back to the gold rush era, containing pioneers, immigrants, and forgotten souls whose final resting place would now be this unexpected necropolis. By 1924, Colma had transformed from agricultural land to the world's most extraordinary memorial complex. Jewish, Catholic, Chinese, and military graveyards stood side by side, creating a remarkable tapestry of San Francisco's diverse historical population. The town's landscape became a three-dimensional historical archive, where every acre told complex stories of migration, struggle, and cultural identity. Economic survival became intrinsically linked to death management. Local families and businesses developed specialized skills in cemetery maintenance, grave relocation, and memorial services. Funeral homes, stone carvers, landscapers, and administrators found steady employment in this unique ecosystem where death was not just an event, but an entire industry. Colma's economy thrived by becoming the region's most sophisticated memorial management center, turning what might have been a morbid necessity into a sophisticated urban solution. The psychological impact on residents was profound and peculiar. Living among millions of graves created a unique cultural environment where mortality was not hidden, but openly acknowledged. Children grew up understanding death, not as a distant concept, but as an immediate surrounding reality. Local folklore emerged. Stories of ghostly encounters, historical whispers, and the sense that every patch of ground held untold narratives. Residents developed a dark humor about their unusual hometown, often joking that they were perpetually outnumbered by their silent neighbors. As decades passed, Colma's reputation grew. Photographers, historians, and curious tourists began documenting this extraordinary place. Famous individuals found their final rest here. Newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst, baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, and countless other notable San Francisco personalities were interred within these meticulously maintained memorial parks. The town had inadvertently become a living museum, preserving not just bodies, but entire layers of California's complex social history. The most remarkable aspect remained the sheer numerical disparity. Approximately 1,700 living residents, surrounded by 1.5 million deceased. As the afternoon light cast long shadows across Colma's expansive memorial parks, the true complexity of this unusual town began to reveal itself. Each cemetery told a story far beyond mere burial grounds. They were intricate social archives preserving San Francisco's forgotten narratives. Italian, Chinese, Jewish, and European immigrant communities were meticulously represented, their cultural identities etched into granite and marble monuments that stretched across rolling hillsides. The economic brilliance behind Colma's creation became stunningly apparent. By transforming what could have been a logistical nightmare into a strategic city of the dead, San Francisco had essentially solved an impossible urban planning challenge. Land values were skyrocketing, and the city couldn't afford to waste prime real estate on cemeteries. Colma became the pragmatic solution, a dedicated necropolis that would preserve historical memory while simultaneously enabling urban development. Wandering through these memorial landscapes, one couldn't help but marvel at the sheer organizational feat. Entire cemeteries had been relocated, with hundreds of thousands of bodies carefully exhumed, transported, and reinterred with remarkable precision. Workers had meticulously mapped and transferred gravestones, ensuring that familial connections and individual histories were not lost in the process. This was more than mere relocation. It was a massive social engineering project that respected human dignity while serving broader urban needs. The town's unique demographic, where the dead dramatically outnumbered the living, created an almost surreal atmosphere of coexistence. Local residents had developed a remarkably matter-of-fact relationship with their spectral neighbors. They had transformed what could have been a morbid landscape into a celebration of life, memory, and historical continuity. As our exploration concluded, the profound lesson of Colma crystallized. Cities are living organisms that constantly reinvent themselves, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. This town was a testament to human adaptability, urban innovation, and the delicate dance between progress and preservation. For those intrigued by this extraordinary story, our next Ghost Town Files episode promises even more incredible revelations about forgotten places where history breathes. Hit subscribe and enable notifications, because some stories are too extraordinary to miss, and each video peels back another layer of our wonderfully weird world.